everyone, I'm Kathryn DeSinaasappelen and welcome to the Reading Corner, which has been decorated slightly different today. Guys, I have a confession to make. I like Twilight. I know there are a lot of you who don't like it, and that's cool. I love you guys. You're fun to laugh at. But I love it. I own all the ebooks in English. I have the paperback in French. I have the hardback in Dutch. And recently, Midnight Sun was released, a book that I have waited for over a decade, and I devoured it in English. And I enjoyed it so much, I bought it in Dutch. And I didn't have the idea to do any type of series about this, even though realistically I should have, because it's not like people haven't done it before, which I wish I'd thought of before because I didn't take that many notes about it. Because you guys like when I rant. I love ranting about Dutch. Plus, it's a good exercise, and if I have a series that I need to do every week, it is certain that I will at the very least read one chapter per week, which is currently my goal. So today, it's not really reviewing so much as ranting about chapter 1. Op het eerste gezicht. My Dutch is so strong. Did I mention that I finished the English version in 2 days? And holy crap, guys, you don't realize how long something is until you read it in another language. I got halfway through the first chapter. I got so mentally exhausted, and I still had 10 pages or so to get through. Man, my brain hurt, but also I was pleasantly surprised to know how easy it was to read. But we have to go on a little side tangent, because as you can see here, I have the French version. I got the French version because anybody who has learned French probably hasn't learned about the literary tenses. Because from my personal experience, I've always been told you don't need to know them because outside of classic French literature, you won't see the literary tenses. Behold my classic French old literature that uses the literary tenses. I'm guessing that French people say this because they don't realize how prevalent the literary tenses are within French media. I notice because it's a difference between me reading and understanding something and me not knowing what the heck is being said in the written form at all. So that's why I got those books, and they were so difficult to read. I just gave up. And even reading in Dutch, which is something that I've been working on, with this book, which is Dutch fairy tales, things that I love reading, and they're short stories, still very difficult. However, I did start reading this when I was in level 2, and then I sort of gave up in level 4. With this, I'm level 7, so progression. I was still nervous going into this, and even though, oh my gosh, there's so much I forgot. Man, the word order in Dutch is messed up. Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. The sentences are backwards. I don't know how to explain this in any other way, but they are. They're backwards. You have verbs at the end of the sentence, and so it's this, like, it's backwards. I hate it. Prepositions in Dutch are also weird because there's lots of uit and up, and we don't use the prepositions at all in English. And sometimes the verbs are different. One of the sentences that I saw was they were hoping that the person would be in the class with them, but in Dutch they use the verb to sit. Likewise, in English, we say that we take classes. In Dutch, you follow classes. Some of these little lingual differences make logical sense in your native language. But then there are other things that I was reading that's like, oh, I understand this. I don't have a way to translate it though, because it makes sense in Dutch. It just doesn't make sense in English. And that's really funny, because when I was reading the English version, there was a word that stumped me up, which I'm probably going to just butcher, even though it's an English word. Juxtaposition? Apparently the translators agree with me because they just cut it out completely, because I actually was looking for how they did this because I thought that sentence was really weird in English. And then I had one of those moments where I saw a word in Dutch and I didn't know what it was. I translated it into English and I still didn't know what it was. I think what happened is my mind did not register the word when I was reading the book in English, because I remember reading that as catastrophe. So I don't know if that's like the dyslexia working in my mind that just changed the word, or if my mind was just like, no, this is a stupid word. We're not even going to recognize it so that it goes into your brain. But then my brain was just like, ha ha ha, it's coming in anyway because of Dutch. And the word was cacophony. I don't know how to pronounce that word either. Obviously somebody had a thesaurus. That's all I'm going to say. The best, it's literal gold, was he is natuurlijk in Kanye. This is what Jessica says to Bella when she asks, hey, who are those people? And she's telling them about the Cullens, and specifically she's referring to Edward. In the English version, she says, naturally, he's a babe. But in the Dutch version, the Dutch version, I love it so much. He is a whopper. Naturally, when my husband came home, I told him, "Je bent in Kanye," and he looked at me like I was insane, and so I assumed that I mispronounced it, and that's when I sadly learned that my book, which I bought in Belgium, is written in Dutch from the Netherlands. It makes me sad. Obviously, the Dutch in Belgium is the proper Dutch. Serious question though. If you're Belgian and you're reading a book that is Dutch from the Netherlands, how weird is that for you? Because I sort of imagine that it must be like me as a US citizen reading something that has British standardized English. Of course, I understand it, you know, common language, but there are many lingual differences when it comes to the verbs, word order, the punctuation being the biggest one, spelling. That just, it pulls me out of the story because like, no, that's wrong. So I wondered if it's the same for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Tot ziens, mijn appelziens. Let's butcher some Dutch for the outros. Dit was het moment van de dag waarop ik het liefste zou willen kunnen slapen. De middelbare school, of was vaak voor in beter werd. Als er een manier was om voor mijn zonden te boten, dan moest ik tot meetalen.